Taman wiped the sweat from his forehead as he stepped off the loading dock. His back ached from 12 hours of hauling cargo containers, and his arms felt like rubber. Waystation Theta 7 was not a pleasant place to work. The air smelled like burned metal and old garbage. Strange creatures from dozens of different worlds walked past him without a second glance. To them, he was just another human worker. Nothing special. He pulled his jacket tighter as he walked through the lower market district. The lights here were dim and flickering. Vendors shouted in languages he could not understand, selling foods that looked either wonderful or terrible. He could never tell which. After 3 months working on this station, Taemin still felt like an outsider. Humans were new to this whole galactic community thing. Most aliens treated them like children who had just learned to walk. The path back to his sleeping quarters took him through a narrow corridor between 2 large warehouses. Taemin had walked this route 100 times before. He knew every crack in the floor, every stain on the walls. His mind wandered to thoughts of home, of Earth, of real food that did not come from a recycler. He barely noticed the small shape moving in the shadows ahead. The impact came suddenly. Something small and fast slammed into his legs. Taemin stumbled backward, his arms windmilling for balance. Before he could make sense of what happened, he felt tiny hands grabbing at his belt. His credit chit, the small device that held all his money, gone. "Hey!" Taemin shouted, but the thief was already running. He got a good look at the creature as it bolted away. It was a child, he realized. An alien child no taller than his waist. The kid had 4 thin arms, all moving in a blur as it ran. Its skin was a pale blue color, almost see-through in places. Big eyes, huge eyes that looked too large for its small head, and the way it moved, all jerky and desperate like it was running for its life. Taemin should have called station security. That was the smart thing to do. The right thing to do, according to station rules. But something stopped him. Maybe it was the way the child's ribs showed through its thin skin. Maybe it was how those big eyes had looked at him for just a split second before running. Not angry eyes. Not criminal eyes. Scared eyes. Desperate eyes. He started walking in the direction the child had gone. Then he jogged. Then he ran. The alien child was fast, but Taemin was taller. He kept the small blue shape in sight as it darted through crowds of aliens. Some of them cursed at him in their strange languages as he pushed past. He did not care. His credit chit only had about 30 credits on it. Not much money at all. But that was not why he was chasing anymore. He needed to know. Needed to understand why a child would do this. The kid turned down a side passage that Taemin had never seen before. Then another turn and another. They were going deeper into the station now, into areas that were not on any official map. The walls here were older, rustier. Water dripped from broken pipes. The lights were even worse than in the market district. Taemin slowed down. He did not want to scare the child more than he already had. He followed at a distance, keeping quiet, staying in the shadows. The alien kid did not look back. It just kept running like something was chasing it, like the whole universe was chasing it. After 10 minutes of walking through maintenance tunnels and crawling through access tubes, Taemin saw where the child was going. There was light ahead, not the harsh white light of the station's main areas. Softer light, firelight maybe, or homemade lamps. He emerged into a large open space that must have once been a cargo bay. But it was not empty. It was full of people. No, not people, aliens, dozens of them. All the same species as the child who had robbed him. All with that same pale blue skin and those big eyes. All looking thin and tired and sick. They had built homes here. If you could call them homes. Pieces of scrap metal leaned against each other to make walls. Old tarps served as roofs. Taemin saw families huddled together, trying to stay warm. He saw children even smaller than his thief, their bellies swollen from hunger. He saw old aliens with gray skin instead of blue, sitting alone and staring at nothing. This was a refugee camp, hidden in the guts of the station. These people were living in the forgotten spaces where nobody looked. The child he had followed ran straight to one of the larger shelters. It was made from what looked like old ship panels, welded together badly. Taemin crept closer, staying low, staying quiet. He needed to see more. When he peeked around the corner of the shelter, his breath caught in his throat. There was a woman lying on a makeshift bed, an adult of the same species as the child. She had to be the mother, but she looked terrible. Her skin was not the pale blue of the others. It was darker, with black patches spreading across her arms and face. Her breathing came in short, painful gasps. Even from where he stood, Taemin could see her whole body shaking. The child, his little thief, was kneeling beside her. It held Taimin's credit chit in one of its 4 hands, showing it to the sick woman like it was a great treasure. The woman tried to smile. She raised one shaking hand to touch the child's face. Then she said something in a language Taimin could not understand. But he understood the tone. Pride mixed with sadness. Love mixed with despair. The child put the credit chit down on the ground and buried its face against the woman's shoulder. The woman wrapped her thin arms around it and held on tight. They stayed like that, shaking together, and Taimin realized the child was crying. Silent, body-shaking crying. He took a step forward without thinking. The floor creaked under his boot. The woman's eyes snapped open. Those huge eyes found him immediately. Despite her sickness, despite her weakness, she moved fast. She pushed the child behind her and tried to sit up, putting her body between her kid and the stranger. Between her kid and him. No, Taimin said quickly, raising his hands. I am not here to hurt anyone. But the woman did not speak his language. She just stared at him with those terrified eyes, holding her child tight. The little thief peeked out from behind its mother. When it saw Taimin, it started talking fast in that alien language. Probably trying to explain. Probably saying sorry. Probably begging him not to call security. Taimin looked at the credit chit lying on the floor. Such a small thing. 30 credits. Not even enough to buy a decent meal on this station. Certainly not enough to buy medicine for a woman who looked like she was dying. He took a deep breath. This was not his problem. These were not his people. He should walk away. Report the theft if he wanted. Go back to his quarters and forget he saw any of this. But Taimin found he could not move his feet. Could not turn away. Could not stop staring at that sick woman and her terrified child. What am I doing? He muttered to himself. He knew what he was doing. He was getting involved. He was about to make his life much more complicated. But he could not help it. Taimin took another step forward, moving slowly, carefully. He bent down and picked up his credit chit. The child whimpered. The mother tried to look fierce, but she was too weak. Her arms were shaking from the effort of holding herself up. Taimin looked at the credit chit in his hand. Then he looked at them. Then he made a choice that would change everything. Taimin stood there holding his credit chit, watching the sick woman try to protect her child. The whole shelter had gone quiet. Other aliens were gathering outside now, watching him. He could feel their eyes on his back. These people were scared. They thought he was going to call security. They thought their hidden home was about to be discovered. He put the credit chit back in his pocket slowly, making sure everyone could see he was not angry. Then he pointed at the woman and made a gesture like drinking water. Universal, he hoped. The woman just stared at him, confused and frightened. An older alien pushed through the crowd. This one was ancient, Taimin could tell. Its skin was almost gray and it walked with a heavy limp. But its eyes were sharp and intelligent. It studied Taimin for a long moment, then said something in broken Galactic Common, the trading language most species used. You. Want what? Why here? Finally, someone he could talk to. Taimin pointed at the sick woman again. She needs help. Medicine, doctor. The old alien made a sound like air escaping from a tire. Laughter, maybe. Or despair. No medicine for us. No doctor for us. Stations say we no exist. We no citizens. No money, no help. Taimin felt anger rising in his chest. That is wrong. She is dying. Look at her. Many dying, the old alien said quietly. Many already dead. This is life now. The child, the little thief, suddenly spoke up. It said something urgent to the old alien in their language. The old one listened, then looked at Taimin with new interest. Child, say you follow him, not call security. Not hit him, why? Taimin did not have a good answer. I do not know. I needed to understand. Understand what? Why a child would steal. Now I understand. He looked around at the refugee camp, at the thin faces and hungry eyes, at the makeshift homes that could barely keep out the cold. You are all hiding here, living in secret. The old alien nodded slowly. We are Velrin. Our world was taken. War came. We run, come here. Station let us dock, then forget about us. Been here 8 months now. Station not care if we live or die. What is wrong with her? Taimin pointed at the woman. The child's mother. What sickness is that? The old Velrin's face became even sadder. Stellar wasting. From the ships we escape in. No shields. Cosmic radiation poison us slowly. She had it worst. Others have it too, but not so bad yet. Taemin knew about radiation sickness. Earth had plenty of experience with that in its bloody history. There must be medicine, treatments. Yes, very expensive. More money than all of us have together. The old Velrin gestured at the camp. We are 73 here. We work when we can where they let us. Clean trash. Fix pipes. Jobs nobody else want. We make little money. Not enough. The child was still watching Taemin. Those big eyes were full of something. Hope, maybe. Taemin felt that hope like a weight on his shoulders. He should walk away. This was not his problem. He was just a cargo hauler. He had his own struggles, his own bills to pay. But he thought about Earth, about humanity's history, about all the times people had needed help and nobody came, about all the times strangers had helped when they did not have to, and how that made all the difference. I want to help, he heard himself say. The old Velrin stared at him. Why, we nothing to you. Humans barely know about Velrin people. Because it is right, because nobody else will. Taemin pulled out his credit chit again. This is not much, but it is a start. Where can I buy medicine? Cannot buy, the old Velrin said. Medicine is controlled. Need station medical license. Need citizenship papers. Need many things we not have. Taemin thought about this. What if I buy it? I am a citizen. I have papers. They not sell to you. They ask why you need Velrin medicine. They become suspicious. This was more complicated than Taemin had thought, but he was not ready to give up. I have a friend. He used to be a military medic. Maybe he can help. The old Velrin looked like it wanted to hope but was afraid to. Why you do this? Really, why? Taemin looked at the sick woman. She had closed her eyes now, exhausted from trying to stay alert. The child was holding her hand with two of its forearms. Because someone has to. And I am here now. I saw this. I cannot just walk away. Humans strange, the old Velrin said. Galactic Council say humans too soft, too emotional, too stupid to survive. They say you make choices with heart, not brain. Maybe that is true, Taemin admitted. But maybe that is not always a bad thing. He spent the next hour in the refugee camp. The old Velrin, whose name was Torva, showed him around. Taemin met families who had lost everything. He met children who did not remember their home world. He met young adults who could not find work because nobody trusted refugees. Every story broke his heart a little more. The sick woman's name was Shiva. The child, his little thief, was called Pio. Pio was 7 years old, which Taemin learned was young even for Velrin. Pio had been stealing for 3 weeks now, trying to gather enough money to buy medicine for his mother. He never took much. Just a credit chit here, some food there. Small things from people who would not miss them too much. He good boy, Torva said. Smart boy. Learn Galactic Common from listening to station speakers. Teach himself to read basic signs. He want to help mothers so much it hurt to watch. Taemin knelt down next to Pio. The child was sitting beside Shiva's bed, refusing to leave her side. Hey, Taemin said gently. I am not angry. I understand now. You did what you had to do. Pio looked at him with those enormous eyes. Mother dying, he said in halting Galactic Common. I try save her. I fail. You did not fail. You did everything you could. You are brave. Taemin put a hand on the child's thin shoulder. But now I am going to help. I promise. Why? Pio asked. The same question everyone kept asking. Because you asked for help, Taemin said simply. Maybe not with words. But you asked. And where I come from, when someone asks for help, you try to give it. He stood up and turned to Torva. I need to contact my friend. Can I come back tomorrow? You really come back? Torva looked suspicious. You not just say this to make us feel better, then forget? I will come back, Taemin promised. With my friend. With medical equipment. We will figure this out. He left the camp the same way he had come in, through the dark tunnels and hidden passages. His mind was racing. This was crazy. He was crazy. He barely had enough money to feed himself. He certainly did not have enough to cure some rare alien disease, and even if he did, buying medicine illegally could get him kicked off the station, could get him arrested. But he kept thinking about Pio's eyes, about Shiva's labored breathing, about all those people living in the shadows, forgotten by everyone. When he got back to his quarters, he immediately sent a message to Daehyun. His friend worked on the human freight ship that made regular stops at the station. They had served in Earth's military together years ago before either of them decided to try their luck in space. The message was simple. Need your help with something. Medical emergency. Can you come to the station tomorrow? Bring your field kit if you can. The reply came back in minutes. What kind of emergency? Are you hurt? Not me. We'll explain tomorrow. Please come. It is important. There was a longer pause. Then, you are getting into trouble again, are not you? Probably, Taemin typed back. But it is the right kind of trouble. Another pause. Then, fine, I will be there at 800 hours. This better be worth it. It is, Taemin wrote. I promise it is. He lay in his bed that night, unable to sleep. He kept seeing Shiva's black-patched skin, kept hearing Pio's broken voice saying, "Mother dying." He thought about all the regulations he was about to break, all the rules he was about to ignore, all the ways this could go wrong. But he also thought about what Torva had said, that humans were too emotional, too soft, that they made choices with their hearts instead of their brains. Maybe that was true. Maybe humans were different from the other species in that way, but Taemin could not see how that was a weakness. Not when the alternative was walking past dying people and doing nothing. Not when the alternative was letting a child watch his mother fade away because she did not have the right papers or enough money. Tomorrow he would come back with Dae-hyun. Tomorrow they would start trying to fix this impossible situation. Tomorrow he would probably make his life much more complicated. But tonight he had made a promise to a scared child. And Taemin always kept his promises. Dae-hyun arrived at exactly 800 hours just like he promised. He was a tall man with broad shoulders and suspicious eyes. Years in the military had taught him to be careful. He carried a large bag that Taemin recognized as a field medical kit. So, Dae-hyun said without any greeting, "What kind of mess have you gotten yourself into this time?" Taemin smiled despite the situation. "The good kind, come on. I need to show you something." He led his friend through the station, down into the lower levels through the hidden passages. Dae-hyun did not ask questions during the walk. He just followed, his hand never far from the knife he kept on his belt, old habits from the military days. When they emerged into the refugee camp, Dae-hyun stopped walking. He stood there, taking it all in. The makeshift shelters, the thin, sick people, the children with hungry eyes. Taemin watched his friend's face change as understanding hit him. "How long have they been here?" Dae-hyun asked quietly. 8 months. "And station security knows about this?" "They know. They just do not care." Dae-hyun was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Show me the patient." Torva was waiting for them at Shiva's shelter. The old Velrin looked relieved when he saw Taemin had actually returned. Pio was there too, sitting beside his mother like he had not moved all night. Dae-hyun knelt down next to Shiva. He opened his medical kit and pulled out a scanning device. It was human technology, not as fancy as the equipment the galactic hospitals used, but it worked. He ran the scanner over Shiva's body slowly, carefully, while Taemin translated between Dae-hyun's questions and Torva's answers. After 10 minutes, Dae-hyun sat back on his heels. His face was grim.
"It is bad."
"The radiation has damaged her cells at a deep level. Without treatment, she has maybe 2 weeks, maybe less." Torva translated this for Pio. The child made a small sound of pain. "Can you help her?" Taemin asked. "Me? No, I am a field medic, not a miracle worker. She needs specialized medicine. Cellular regeneration therapy. Radiation scrubbing." Dae-hyun shook his head. "That kind of treatment costs thousands of credits. Tens of thousands. We not have," Torva said simply. "I know." Dae-hyun looked frustrated. "And even if you did, the station medical center would not treat you without citizenship papers." Taemin felt his hope starting to crack. "So there is nothing we can do?" Dae-hyun did not answer right away. He was staring at his scanner, reading the data again. Then he pulled out a small tablet from his bag and started searching through files. Medical files, Taemin realized. Research papers. Treatment protocols. "There might be something," Dae-hyun said slowly. "But it is risky. Probably illegal. And I am not even sure it will work." "Tell me," Taemin said. Dae-hyun showed him the tablet. "Look at this. Human medical history. Back when Earth was still figuring out nuclear energy, we had a lot of accidents, radiation exposure. We got pretty good at treating it because we had to. The methods are old. The galactic medical community considers them primitive, but they work. You want to use human medicine on her?" Torva sounded doubtful. "The biology is similar enough. Velrin and humans are both carbon-based. Similar cell structures. The principles should translate. Daehyun looked at Shiva. It will not be as effective as the expensive galactic treatments, but it might stabilize her. Give her more time. Maybe even heal her if we are lucky. What do you need? Taemin asked. Supplies. Chemicals I can synthesize from basic compounds. Medical equipment we can modify. Daehyun was making a list on his tablet. And time. A lot of time. We will have to adjust everything for Velrin biology. Run tests. Make sure we are not going to make things worse. We have time, Taemin said. And I have some money saved. This will cost more than your savings. Daehyun gave him a serious look. And if station security catches us practicing unlicensed medicine, we will both be arrested. Probably banned from the station. Maybe banned from multiple stations. Taemin looked at Pio. The child was watching them with desperate hope in his big eyes. I do not care about the rules anymore. We have to try. I was hoping you would say that. Daehyun closed his medical kit. Give me 24 hours. I need to go back to the ship and gather supplies. Talk to some people. I will be back tomorrow. Talk to people? Taemin asked. Who? The crew. We might need help with this. Equipment we do not have. Skills I do not have. Money we both do not have. Daehyun stood up. If we are going to do this, we should do it right. After Daehyun left, Taemin stayed at the camp. He wanted to help somehow, even if he did not have medical skills. He ended up helping repair one of the shelters that was falling apart. The Velrin who lived there, a young couple with 2 small children, were grateful. They did not speak much Galactic Common, but their smiles said enough. While he worked, other humans started arriving. Not many, just 3 at first, but they came carrying supplies. Hyunwoo was first. He was the engineer from Daehyun's ship, a short man with clever hands and a quick mind. He brought tools and spare parts. Daehyun told me about this place, he said. Thought I could help fix some things. Maybe build better shelters. Rig up some proper lighting. Then came Bora, the ship's administrator. She was a practical woman who did not waste words. She brought food. Real food. Not the recycled paste the refugees had been eating. Everyone needs to eat, she said simply. Especially sick people. By evening, there were 5 humans in the camp, all working on different projects. Hyunwoo was building a water filtration system. Bora was organizing a supply chain. Another crew member named Kijun was teaching some of the young Velrin basic repair skills so they could find work. Torva watched all this with amazement. Why humans care so much? We nothing to you. Taemin was helping Hyunwoo sort through electrical parts. Where I come from, we have a saying. We are all in this together. Humans learned that the hard way. Earth was not always a nice place. We fought wars. We hurt each other. We made big mistakes. But we also learned that the only way to survive is to help each other, to see suffering and try to fix it. Other species not think like this, Torva said. They see weak people, they leave them to die. They say it is natural selection. They say it is efficient. Maybe it is efficient, Hyunwoo said, not looking up from his work. But it is also cruel. Humans decided a long time ago that we would rather be kind than efficient. That night, Taemin slept in the camp. He made a bed from old blankets in a corner of the cargo bay. It was uncomfortable and cold. But he did not want to leave. He felt like if he left, if he went back to his comfortable quarters, he might lose his nerve, might start thinking too much about all the risks. Pio came to him before sleep. The child looked exhausted but was trying hard not to cry. Mother worse today, he said quietly. She not recognize me sometimes. She talked to people who not there. Taemin pulled the child close. It felt strange at first, hugging this alien kid with 4 arms and blue skin, but then it felt natural. Sadness was the same in any species. Fear was the same. Love was the same. Daehyun will come back tomorrow, Taemin said. He will bring medicine. We will help her, you promise? Pio asked. Taemin knew he should not promise. Knew that Shiva might die anyway, knew that their human treatments might not work, knew that hope could be cruel when it did not come true. But he looked at this child who had tried so hard to save his mother, who had risked everything for just a chance, and he could not take away hope. I promise we will try our best. I promise we will not give up. No matter what happens, you will not be alone. Okay? Pio nodded. The child stayed there for a while, leaning against Taemin's side until he fell asleep. Taemin carefully moved him to a blanket nest and covered him up. Torva had been watching from nearby. You humans strange creatures, the old Velrin said softly. You make promises you cannot keep. You take on burdens that are not yours. You care too much about strangers. Is that a bad thing? Taemin asked. I not know yet, Torva admitted. But I think maybe the galaxy need more creatures like you. More beings who care too much. More people who help when they not have to. We are trying, Taemin said. We are all just trying. He looked around the camp. At the humans working to build better shelters. At the Velrin starting to hope again. At little Pio sleeping peacefully for the first time in weeks. Tomorrow Daehyun would return. Tomorrow they would start the real work of trying to save Shiva. Tomorrow everything might get much more complicated. But tonight they had given these people something valuable. Not medicine yet. Not miracles. Just proof that someone cared. Just proof that they were not alone anymore. Sometimes, Taemin thought, that was enough to keep going. That small spark of hope. That knowledge that someone was trying. He lay down on his uncomfortable bed of blankets and closed his eyes. He thought about all the regulations they were about to break. All the powerful people they were about to anger. All the ways this could go wrong. But he also thought about Pio's smile when Taemin had hugged him. About the way Torva's eyes had shown something like hope for the first time. Whatever happened next, Taemin knew he had made the right choice. The human choice. The choice to care even when it was hard, even when it was risky, even when everyone else said it was stupid. That was what made humans different, he thought. And maybe, just maybe, that was what the galaxy needed. Daehyun returned the next morning with 2 large cases of equipment. He looked tired but determined. Behind him came 3 more crew members from his ship, all carrying supplies. The refugee camp suddenly felt busy, almost like a real medical facility. We have everything we need to start, Daehyun said, setting his cases down. But I need to be clear about something. This is experimental. I have adapted human radiation treatment protocols for Velrin biology, based on my scans and what research I could find. But I have never done this before. Nobody has. I understand, Torva said. He had translated all this for Shiva. The sick woman had nodded her understanding too, though she could barely keep her eyes open. We have no other choice. Either we try this or she die. Daehyun set up his equipment in Shiva's shelter. He had brought IV bags filled with fluids he had mixed himself. Compounds designed to help flush radiation from her system. Drugs to help her cells repair themselves. Everything was calculated for Velrin biology, but it was still a guess. An educated guess, but a guess. The treatment will take days, Daehyun explained as he worked. Maybe weeks. We need to go slow. Watch for bad reactions. Adjust as we go. Taemin watched his friend insert the IV needle into Shiva's arm. The Velrin woman flinched but did not cry out. Pio held her other hand, all 4 of his arms wrapped around it. Talk to me while the medicine works, Daehyun said to Shiva through Torva's translation. Tell me if you feel anything strange. Pain, dizziness, anything. The first day was tense. Everyone in the camp watched and waited. Shiva slept a lot, which Daehyun said was normal. Her body was working hard to heal. But by evening, Taemin noticed her breathing seemed a little easier. The black patches on her skin looked slightly less dark. Too early to celebrate, Daehyun warned. Could just be my imagination. Could be temporary. We need more time. While Daehyun worked on the medical treatment, Hyunwoo was solving another problem. The refugee camp had terrible environmental systems. The air was stale. The temperature fluctuated wildly and dampness bred mold in corners. This place is making everyone sick, Hyunwoo said. He was studying the old cargo-based systems with his engineering tools. Not just radiation sickness. Basic illness from poor living conditions. We need to fix this, and can you fix it? Taemin asked. I can build a better air circulation system, rig up heating elements, install moisture scrubbers, Hyunwoo grinned. Give me a week and some spare parts and I will make this place livable. Will station security notice? Not if we are careful. This part of the station is abandoned. Nobody checks the power usage here. We just need to tap into the main grid quietly. While the humans worked, word spread through the refugee underground. Other aliens, different species from different camps hidden in other parts of the station, started visiting. They wanted to see the humans who were helping Velrin refugees. They wanted to understand why. One visitor was a tall insect-like creature who introduced himself as Click. He spoke Galactic Common with clicks and whistles. My people also hiding on station. We heard humans doing something impossible. Treating someone station says cannot be treated. We are trying, Taemin said simply. Why? Click asked. The same question everyone asked. Velrin, not your species. Not your problem. You gain nothing. Taman was getting tired of explaining. Because it is right. Is that so hard to understand? For most species, yes. Click's many eyes studied him. Most beings do what benefits them. Help family. Help tribe. Help those who can help back. But random strangers? Weak strangers who cannot repay? This is unusual. Maybe humans are unusual then. Maybe you are, Click said thoughtfully. My people could use unusual friends. If your human medicine works, maybe you help us too? We have sick children. Station doctors refuse treatment because we are illegal refugees. Taemin looked at Dae-hyun, who had been listening. His friend shrugged. If we can help one species, maybe we can help others. But one patient at a time. Let us see if this even works first. On the third day, something happened that changed everything. Taemin was helping sort medical supplies when he heard shouting. He ran to the camp entrance and found station security officers standing there. 3 of them, all in uniform. Behind them stood a tall alien with purple scales and cold eyes. Taemin recognized the species, Vraxian. They ran most of the station's administration. This area is restricted, the lead security officer announced. All occupants must leave immediately. Torva stepped forward. We're not bothering anyone. We just living here. You are living here illegally. You are using station resources without authorization. You must vacate within 24 hours. We have nowhere to go, Torva said. Not my problem. The officer looked bored, like he had this conversation many times before. The Vraxian administrator stepped forward. His name badge read Tulkor. I have been informed that unlicensed medical practice is occurring here. This is a serious violation of station regulations. Taemin felt his heart sink. Someone had reported them. We are just helping sick people. Are you a licensed medical professional? Tulkor asked, though he clearly knew the answer. No, but then you are practicing medicine illegally. You will cease immediately. The patient will be removed to proper facilities. She cannot be moved. Dae-hyun came out of Shiva's shelter, anger on his face. She is in critical condition. Moving her could kill her. Then she will die in accordance with station policy. Tulkor's voice was flat, emotionless. We cannot provide medical care to non-citizens. This is established law. She is a living being. Taemin could not control his anger anymore. She has a child. She deserves help. She deserves what she can pay for, Tulkor corrected. As do we all. The station cannot support every refugee who arrives. We must be practical. We must be efficient. You mean cruel, Dae-hyun said. I mean realistic. Tulkor looked around the camp with distaste. You humans are new to galactic society. You have not learned yet how things work. You cannot save everyone. You should not try. It disrupts the natural order. The natural order is wrong, Taemin said. That is your opinion. It is not policy. Tulkor turned to the security officers. Ensure these humans cease their activities. If they continue, arrest them for illegal medical practice and revoke their station access permits. The officers nodded. They looked uncomfortable but followed orders. After they left, the camp fell into shocked silence. What do we do now? Bora asked. She had been organizing food distribution when the officers arrived. We keep working, Taemin said firmly. They will arrest us, Hyunwoo pointed out. Then they arrest us. I am not stopping. Not when Shiva is starting to improve, it was true. Over the past 3 days, Shiva had gotten noticeably better. Her breathing was stronger. The black patches on her skin were fading. She could stay awake for hours now. She could talk to P.O., hold him, tell him stories. She was not cured, not yet. But she was alive and improving. Dae-hyun nodded slowly. If we stop now, she will die. The treatment needs at least another week to work fully. So we continue in secret, Ki-jun suggested. Be more careful. Hide what we are doing. They will be watching now, Bora said. It will be harder. Then it will be harder. Taemin looked around at his friends, at the human crew who had come to help. But we do not stop. Agreed, they all nodded. Every single one of them, even though they knew the risks. Even though they knew they might lose everything. That night, Tulkor sent an official message to Taemin's personal communicator. The message was clear and threatening. Cease all medical activities immediately. Failure to comply will result in arrest, fine, and permanent ban from Waystation Theta 7 and all associated facilities. Consider this your only warning. Taemin deleted the message without responding. He went to Shiva's shelter where Dae-hyun was checking her vital signs. How is she? Taemin asked. Better. Significantly better. Her cell regeneration is accelerating. If this continues for another week, she might actually survive. Dae-hyun looked up. But we need that week. If they shut us down now? They will not shut us down, Taemin said. I will not let them. How will you stop them? They have the law on their side. They have security forces. They have power. And we have something they do not have, Taemin said. We have people who care. We have friends who will help. We have the will to do what is right even when it is hard. That sounds nice, Dae-hyun said. But I am not sure caring beats security forces. We will find out, Taemin said. Pio came into the shelter then, carrying water for his mother. The child moved carefully, making sure not to spill. Shiva smiled when she saw him. A real smile, warm and loving. A smile that would not have been possible 3 days ago when she was barely conscious. Thank you, Pio said to Taemin in his careful galactic common. You saved my mother. You keep promise we are not done yet, Taemin said. But we will finish. I promise. He knew he should not keep making promises he might not be able to keep. But looking at Pio's hopeful face, at Shiva's improving condition, at all the refugees who were starting to believe things could get better, Taemin could not help himself. Sometimes hope was all you had. Sometimes determination was the only weapon. And sometimes Taemin believed that was enough. It had to be enough. Because the alternative was giving up. And humans did not give up. Not when lives were at stake. Not when they had come this far. Tulkor thought humans were naive and foolish. Thought Karen the next 3 days were the hardest. Station security watched the camp constantly. Officers patrolled the corridors near the hidden entrance. The humans had to be creative, sneaking in supplies through alternate routes, timing their visits when security shifts changed. But they kept working. Dae-hyun continued Shiva's treatment, adjusting doses, monitoring her progress. Hyunwoo installed his environmental systems piece by piece. Bora organized supply runs through friendly merchants who sympathized with the refugees. Then on the 7th day of treatment, something went wrong. Taemin was sleeping in his quarters when his communicator buzzed frantically. It was Torva. Come quick. Shiva very sick. Something wrong, he ran. Did not even stop to grab his jacket. Just ran through the station down into the tunnels, not caring if security saw him. When he reached the camp, he found chaos. Shiva was convulsing on her bed. Her skin had turned dark purple, almost black. Foam flecked her lips. Dae-hyun was working frantically, trying different medicines, checking monitors that beeped alarming warnings. What happened? Taemin demanded. I do not know. She was fine 2 hours ago. Then this started. Dae-hyun's hands shook as he worked. It might be a reaction to the treatment, or her body failing, or an infection. I cannot tell. Pio was screaming. The child's cries echoed through the cargo bay, raw and heartbroken. Other Velrin held him back, kept him from interfering with Dae-hyun's work, but Pio fought them. He wanted his mother. He wanted to help somehow, any way he could. Torva looked at Taemin with accusing eyes. You said human medicine would work. You promised she'd get better. I thought she was getting better, Taemin said helplessly. We all thought, you kill her. Pio shrieked. Your poison killed my mother. The words hit Taemin like physical blows. He wanted to defend himself, wanted to explain that they were trying to help, but what if Pio was right? What if their human treatments were making things worse? What if they had killed her with their arrogance, thinking they could cure a disease they barely understood? Other Velrin gathered around, murmuring angrily. Some of the younger ones looked ready to fight. The camp's fragile hope was cracking, turning into rage and despair. Everyone back, Dae-hyun shouted. I need space to work. But they did not back away. They pressed closer, demanding answers, demanding someone to blame. Taemin put himself between the angry refugees and Dae-hyun, trying to protect his friend while he worked. The situation was seconds from turning violent. Then Hyunwoo appeared with 2 other humans from the ship. They formed a protective circle around Shiva's shelter. Nobody touches the doctor, Hyunwoo said firmly. Give him time to work, he's killing her. Someone shouted. He is trying to save her, Hyunwoo shot back. You want someone to blame? Blame the station that refused to treat her in the first place. Blame the system that left you all to die. But do not blame the people who actually tried to help. For a long, tense moment, nobody moved. Then Torva raised his hand, calling for calm.
Hyunwoo right.
We angry at wrong people. Let doctor work. We wait, so they waited. Hours passed. Shiva's convulsions slowed but did not stop. Her breathing remained ragged. Daehyun tried everything he could think of. New medicines, different combinations, adjusting the IV flow. Nothing seemed to help. She is dying, Daehyun finally admitted, his voice hollow. I do not know what else to do. I am sorry. I am so sorry. Pio's cries had faded to quiet whimpers. The child sat on the floor, rocking back and forth, arms wrapped around himself. Taemin sat beside him, not knowing what to say. What could he say? They had failed. He had failed. He had promised to help, and now Shiva was dying anyway. Maybe Tulkor was right. Maybe humans were too foolish, too naive. Maybe caring was not enough. Maybe good intentions meant nothing when you did not have the knowledge or resources to make a real difference. Taemin pulled Pio close, and the child did not resist. They sat there together in the dim light, watching Shiva struggle for every breath, waiting for the end. But the end did not come. As dawn light filtered through cracks in the cargo bay walls, Shiva's breathing changed. It became easier, deeper. Her convulsions stopped. The dark purple color faded from her skin, returning to the lighter blue. Daehyun checked his monitors, then checked them again. Her vitals are stabilizing. Cell death has slowed. No, wait. Cell regeneration is accelerating. He looked up with wide eyes. She is recovering. What? Taemin could not believe what he heard. She is recovering. Whatever was happening, her body fought through it. The treatment is working again. Daehyun laughed, a slightly hysterical sound. This was a healing crisis. Her body was purging toxins too fast, overwhelming her systems. But she survived it. She is actually healing now. By midday, Shiva opened her eyes. She was weak, exhausted, but conscious. When she saw Pio, she smiled. My son, she whispered in her own language. Pio launched himself at her, crying, laughing, babbling words too fast for anyone to understand. Shiva held him with all her strength, which was not much, but it was enough. Over the next 2 days, the improvement was dramatic. The black patches on Shiva's skin disappeared completely. Her breathing became normal. She could sit up, then stand with help, then walk on her own. By the end of the week, you would never know she had been dying just days before. The impossible had happened. Human medicine, primitive human treatments, had cured a disease that galactic hospitals said required expensive therapy. Word spread faster than Taemin expected. First through the Velran community, then to other refugee camps. Click returned with several of his people who were sick. Other species started arriving, asking if the humans could help them too. We have created a problem, Bora said, watching the growing line of sick aliens outside the camp. We cannot treat everyone. We do not have the supplies or knowledge. But we have to try, Daehyun said. He looked tired but energized, like he had found his purpose again. At least examine them. See if we can help. So they set up what amounted to a free clinic in the hidden cargo bay. Daehyun examined patients. Sometimes he could help. Sometimes he could not. But he always tried. The other humans helped however they could. Hyunwoo built better facilities. Kijun organized medicine distribution. Bora managed the growing number of patients and supplies. Taemin found himself coordinating everything, acting as a bridge between the human crew and the various alien communities. He was not a leader by nature, but somehow he had become one. Pio rarely left his mother's side now, but he helped translate when Velran patients arrived. The child had changed. He smiled now. He laughed. The desperate, frightened look in his eyes had been replaced with something else. Hope, trust, belief that things could get better. You saved her, Pio said to Taemin one evening. They were organizing medical supplies together. Everyone say it was impossible. Stations say she die, but you save her. Your mother saved herself, Taemin said. She was strong enough to survive. She's strong because you gave her chance, Pio insisted. Before you came, we have no chance. We have nothing. Now we have hope. That word again. Hope. Such a small thing, really. But Taemin was learning how powerful it could be. How much people could endure if they just had a little hope to hold on to. But their success brought new attention. Attention they did not want. On the 10th day after Shiva's recovery, Tulkor returned. This time he brought more security officers. A lot more. They surrounded the camp entrance, cutting off escape routes. I warned you. Tulkor announced. I told you to stop, but you continued your illegal activities. You expanded them. You are now operating an unlicensed medical facility in violation of multiple station regulations. We are helping people who have nowhere else to go, Taemin said, standing between Tulkor and the camp. That is not your decision to make. You are not a station administrator. You are not a licensed medical provider. You have no authority to operate this facility. Tulkor gestured to his security team. Shut it down. Arrest the humans. Confiscate all medical equipment. You cannot do this. Daehyun stepped forward. We have patients in critical care. Then they will be transferred to proper facilities. They cannot afford proper facilities. That is why they came to us. Again, not my problem. Tulkor's expression never changed. He looked at the humans like they were insects. Annoying insects that needed to be removed. You have caused enough disruption. You have given these refugees false hope. You have made them think they matter, that society should care for them. This is dangerous. This threatens the established order. And there it was, Taemin realized. The real reason Tulkor wanted them gone, not because they were breaking regulations, because they were proving that the system did not have to be this way, that the established order that left people to die was a choice, not a necessity. They were showing that caring was possible. That help was possible, and that threatened everything the station administration stood for. We are not leaving, Taemin said quietly. Then you will be removed by force. The security officers moved forward, reaching for their restraints. Taemin saw Daehyun tense, preparing to fight, saw Hyunwoo and the other humans readying themselves. This was about to turn ugly, but before, the standoff lasted for 3 tense minutes. Security officers facing hundreds of refugees who refused to move. Tulkor looked furious, his purple scales darkening with anger. You are all breaking station law, he said coldly. If you do not disperse, you will be arrested as well. Then arrest all of us, Torva said. You have cells for hundreds? You have resources to process all of us? I think not. Tulkor realized the trap. If he tried to arrest everyone, it would create a massive incident. The station did not have the facilities to hold this many people. The paperwork alone would be a nightmare, and doing it publicly in front of cameras that some of the refugees had started recording with would make the station administration look terrible. This is not over, Tulkor said. He signaled his security officers to withdraw. You humans have 24 hours to shut down your operation and leave the station. After that, I will have you arrested on sight. And as for the rest of you, he looked at the refugees with contempt. Enjoy your victory. It will not last. After they left, the camp erupted in celebration. People hugged each other. Children laughed. For a moment, they had won. They had stood up to authority and survived, but Taemin did not celebrate. He knew Tulkor was right. This was not over. They had won a battle, but not the war. We need a better plan, he said to the other humans that night. They gathered in a corner of the cargo bay, speaking quietly. Tulkor will come back with a bigger force, or he will find another way to shut us down. Cut our power, block our supply lines. We cannot win a direct fight against station authority. So what do we do? Kijun asked. Just give up? No, we change the game. Bora had been thinking. We stop hiding. We go public. Tell everyone what we are doing. Tell everyone that the station administration left these people to die while we saved them. That could backfire, Daehyun warned. Most of galactic society agrees with Tulkor. They think helping refugees is wasteful, but not all of them, Bora insisted. There are sympathetic groups, independent journalists, other refugee communities across the galaxy, and human colonies. When humans hear what is happening here, they will care. Our people always care. She is right, Hyunwoo said. Humans are new to the galactic community, but we have influence. We have colonies on 20 worlds now. We have trade agreements, diplomatic relationships. If we make enough noise, it becomes a political issue, not just a station administration issue. Taemin thought about this. It is risky. If we go public, we become targets, not just from Tulkor, but from anyone who wants to maintain the current system. We are already targets, Daehyun pointed out. Might as well make our targeting worth something. They voted. Everyone agreed. They would go public. Bora spent the next 6 hours putting together a message. She gathered footage of the refugee camp before and after the humans arrived. She included images of Shiva, nearly dead from radiation sickness, then walking and healthy. She documented the other patients they had helped. She recorded testimony from the refugees themselves. Then she wrote a simple statement. Way Station Theta 7 left these people to die. We are saving them with basic human medicine. The station administration wants to stop us. They think helping refugees is wrong. They think caring about the weak is foolish. We think they are wrong. This is our stand. These are our people now, and we are not leaving them. She sent the message everywhere. To human news networks, to galactic journalists known for covering refugee issues, to humanitarian organizations, to anyone who might care. She posted it on public forums and social networks. She made sure it could not be ignored or suppressed. The response was immediate and explosive. Human colonies across the galaxy responded first. Within hours, protests started on Earth, on Mars, on the lunar settlements. Humans marching with signs that read, "We stand with the refugees." And caring is not weakness. Human diplomats started asking uncomfortable questions to Galactic Council members. Then other species started responding. Not many, but some. Progressive groups that had been fighting for refugee rights. Journalists who wanted to expose corruption. Even some mainstream galactic voices started questioning whether the station's response was appropriate. Of course, there was also backlash. Many aliens agreed with Tulkor. They thought humans were being naive and emotional. They thought the refugees should have been left to their fate. Conservative factions called it human sentimentality and dangerous precedent. But the story was out there. It could not be hidden anymore. 2 days after Bora sent the message, something unexpected happened. A ship arrived at Way Station Theta 7, not a human ship. A Velrin ship. It was a diplomatic vessel from the Velrin homeworld. Torva was shocked. Our government not care about refugees. They abandoned us when war came. Why they here now? The answer came quickly. 3 Velrin officials in formal robes came to the hidden cargo bay. Station security tried to stop them, but diplomatic immunity prevented interference. When they saw the camp, when they saw their people living in such conditions, the officials looked genuinely disturbed. The lead official, an elderly female with silver-marked skin, asked to see the human clinic. She asked to meet the humans who had saved Velrin refugees. When she saw Shiva alive and healthy, she stopped walking and just stared. "I know you," she said in perfect galactic common. "You are Shiva Kator. You were a medical researcher. You disappeared during the evacuation." "I thought no one remembered me," Shiva said quietly. "Your research was valuable. Your disappearance was noted." The official turned to Taemin. "You are the human who saved her?" "I helped," Taemin said. "My friend Dae Hyun did the medical work." The official studied him for a long moment. "Why? Why would you risk everything for strangers from a species you barely know?" Taemin was tired of this question, but he answered it one more time. Because she needed help. Because her son was desperate. Because nobody else would try. That is enough reason. For humans, perhaps. The official looked around at the camp. "We received your message. We saw what was happening here. Our government has been shamed by this. Shamed that strangers showed more compassion for our people than we did." She turned to the other officials and said something in the Velrin language. They nodded. Then she looked back at Taemin. "The Velrin Directorate wishes to make an official statement. We are offering full citizenship and repatriation to all Velrin refugees on this station. We will pay for their transportation home. We will provide medical care and job placement. We are also requesting a formal meeting with human diplomatic representatives. We wish to discuss a partnership." "What kind of partnership?" Taemin asked, not sure he understood. "Medical and humanitarian. Your human approaches to medicine have proven effective where our advanced treatments failed. Your willingness to help those in need is something we have lost but wish to rediscover. We want to learn from you. We want to work with you. We want to help you extend this clinic to other refugee populations." Taemin felt like the floor had moved under his feet. This was not what he expected. He had expected to be arrested, maybe banned from the station. He had not expected this. "I need to discuss this with my friends," he said. "Of course, but understand, this offer extends to all humans involved in this effort. We are prepared to provide funding, resources, and political support. What you have built here," she gestured at the camp, "this should not be hidden. It should be expanded. Made official. Made permanent." After the Velrin officials left, the humans gathered to talk. They were all stunned. "This is bigger than we thought," Daehyun said. "They want to create an actual organization. An official refugee medical service using human methods. Can we do that? Kijun asked. We are just a cargo crew. We are not diplomats or administrators. We are exactly what they need, Bora said firmly. People who care enough to try. People who do not let rules and regulations stop them from helping. That is rare in the galaxy, apparently. That makes us valuable. Hyunwoo nodded slowly. I could leave the cargo business. This feels more important. Building medical facilities, training people, helping refugees. This feels like something worth doing. One by one, they all agreed. They would take the Velrin offer. They would transform their hidden clinic into something bigger, but first they had to deal with Tulkor. The station administrator was furious when he heard about the Velrin diplomatic visit. He tried to block the repatriation efforts, citing various regulations. But with the Velrin government now involved, his power was limited. Diplomatic pressure forced him to allow the refugees to leave if they wished. Most of the Velrin chose to go home. After 8 months of hiding and suffering, they could finally return. The camp that had been so crowded began to empty as families boarded transport ships. Shiva and Pio were among the last to leave. On their final day at the station, they came to say goodbye to Taimin. We owe you everything, Shiva said. She was completely healthy now, her skin bright blue and clear. You gave me back my life. You gave my son back his mother. You would have done the same, Taimin said. I do not know if that is true. I was so focused on survival I stopped seeing beyond my own needs. She put a hand on his shoulder. You taught me something. You taught all of us something. That we do not have to accept the world as it is. That we can make it better if we are 3 months had passed since the day Pio stole Taimin's credit chit. 3 months that felt like 3 years for all the changes they had brought. The official opening ceremony for the way station Theta 7 Refugee Medical Center was held in one of the station's largest public spaces. Taimin stood on the stage, uncomfortable in formal clothes, watching dignitaries from a dozen different species take their seats. He still could not quite believe this was real. The medical center occupied an entire section of the station now. 20 beds, 3 examination rooms, a proper pharmacy, storage for supplies, office space for administrators, and staff. They had actual staff now. Daehyun ran the medical operations with 2 Velrin doctors who had volunteered to help. Hyunwoo managed the technical systems with a team of engineers from various species. Bora handled administration and funding with support from the Velrin government. Kijun trained people in basic medical care, teaching refugees simple skills they could use to help their communities. Already, 3 other stations had requested similar training programs. The model was spreading, but today was about more than just opening a clinic. Today was about making a statement. The Velrin diplomatic delegation sat in the front row. The elderly official, whose name was Matriarch Valkyra, smiled at Taimin encouragingly. Beside her sat representatives from Earth's diplomatic corps, looking proud and slightly amazed at what a small group of cargo workers had accomplished. On the other side sat various alien dignitaries. Some looked genuinely supportive. Others looked skeptical or even disapproving. The galactic community was still divided on whether helping refugees was wise policy or wasteful sentimentality. And in the back, looking like he had swallowed something bitter, sat Tulkor. The station administrator had been forced to attend by his superiors. The embarrassment of the refugee situation had damaged his career. Rumor said he would be transferred to a less prominent station soon. Taimin felt no satisfaction in that. He had never wanted to hurt anyone. He just wanted to help. Matriarch Valkyra approached the podium to speak first. Her voice carried through the hall with practiced authority. 3 months ago, my government received a message that shamed us. It showed our people living in squalor, forgotten and dying while we claimed to be an advanced civilization. It showed strangers, humans we barely knew, doing what we should have done, caring for our own people when we had abandoned them. She paused, letting her words sink in. This was a wake-up call. Not just for the Velrin, but for all of us. We in the galactic community have become efficient at many things. At trade, at technology, at expansion. But we have become inefficient at the most important thing, at caring for each other. A murmur ran through the audience, some approving, some uncomfortable. These humans showed us something we had forgotten. They showed us that compassion is not weakness, that helping those in need is not wasteful, that every life has value, regardless of citizenship or wealth or status. Valkyra gestured toward Timon and his friends. They did this not for profit, not for fame, not even for gratitude. They did it because it was right. Because someone needed help and they could provide it. She held up a document. Today, the Velrun Directorate formally announces an alliance with Earth. We will share medical knowledge, combining our advanced technology with humanity's unique approaches developed through their difficult history. We will fund humanitarian efforts across this sector, and we will work together to ensure that what happened here, refugees left to die in the shadows, never happens again. The applause was mixed, enthusiastic from some quarters, polite and restrained from others. Change made many people uncomfortable. Then it was Tamin's turn to speak. He had not wanted to speak publicly. He was not good at speeches. But Bora had insisted. People need to hear from you, she had said. You started this. You should explain why. He approached the podium with sweaty palms. Hundreds of beings from dozens of species stared at him. He thought about running. Then he thought about Pio, about Shiva, about all the other people they had helped. He could do this. He had to do this. I am not a diplomat, he started. His voice sounded too loud in the speakers. I am not a doctor. I am not anyone important. 3 months ago, I was just a cargo hauler trying to make enough money to eat. Then a child stole my credit chit and everything changed. He told the story simply, following Pio through the tunnels, finding Shiva dying, deciding to help even though it was risky and probably foolish. He did not make himself sound heroic. He told it like it was, confusing and scary and uncertain. People keep asking me why I did this, he said, why I risked my job, my safety, my future for strangers. And I understand why they ask. Because in the galactic community, that is not normal behavior. You help your family, your species, those who can help you back. But helping random strangers? That is strange. He looked out at the crowd. But humans are strange. We come from a world that tried very hard to kill us. Weather, predators, diseases, and most of all, each other. We fought terrible wars. We made horrible mistakes. Earth's history is full of cruelty and suffering. But it is also full of something else. Stories of people helping each other when they did not have to. Stories of strangers showing kindness. Stories of communities coming together when things got hard. We learned something on Earth, Tamin continued. We learned that we survive together or we die alone. That caring about others is not weakness. It is strength. It is what allowed us to build cities and cure diseases and eventually reach the stars. We learned that the question is not why should I help them? The question is why should I not? He pointed to where Tulkor sat. The administrator looked like he wanted to disappear. Some of you think like him. That helping the weak is inefficient. That resources should only go to those who can pay. That refugees and poor people should be left to their natural fate. You think this makes you strong and practical. But I think it makes you fragile, because someday, you might be the one who needs help. You might be the refugee. You might be the sick person with no money. You might be the child stealing food to survive. And in that moment, you will pray that someone, somewhere is foolish enough to care about strangers. The hall was completely silent now. Even those who disagreed were listening. This medical center is not just about medicine, Tamin said. It is about proving something. Proving that we do not have to accept the world as it is, that we can make it better, that caring is not naive or stupid. It is necessary. It is what separates civilization from barbarism. He stepped back from the podium. The applause that followed was louder this time. Not everyone clapped, but more did than before. He had reached some of them at least. After the ceremony, people mingled in the reception area. Tamin found himself surrounded by aliens wanting to talk to him. Some were curious. Some wanted to criticize his approach. Some wanted to know how they could help. A young Vraxian female approached him. I am Torvel, she said. I work in station administration. Under Tulkor. Tamin tensed, expecting hostility. I want you to know that not all of us agree with him, Torvel said quickly. Many of us wanted to help the refugees but were afraid to break regulations. You showed us that sometimes breaking rules is the right thing to do. You gave us courage. What will you do now? Tamin asked. I am resigning from station administration. I want to work for your clinic. If you will have me, she was the first but not the last. Over the following weeks, beings from many species volunteered to help. Some were medical professionals. Some were engineers. Some were just people who wanted to be part of something good. The clinic grew beyond what Tamin had imagined. They treated hundreds of patients in the first month. Word spread through the refugee underground that there was a place where you could get help without questions, without payment, without judgment. Other stations began asking how to replicate the model. Human Diplomatic Corps helped set up similar clinics on 3 other stations. The Velran government funded expansion efforts. Even some of the skeptical alien governments started reconsidering their refugee policies. Change was happening. Slow change, but real change. On a quiet evening 2 months after the opening ceremony, Taemin was doing paperwork in his small office when a familiar face appeared in the doorway. Shiva, looking healthy and professional in research robes. "I heard you need a biochemist," she said with a smile. "Shiva, what are you doing here? I thought you were on Velran Prime working with the Directorate." "I was. I am, but they sent me here. I am part of a new joint research program. Velran and human medical experts working together. I volunteered immediately when I heard it was based here." "That is wonderful." Taemin stood to greet her properly. "How is Pio?" "Growing so fast. He is in school now, learning 4 languages. He wants to be a doctor someday." Shiva's eyes were bright with pride. "He talks about you constantly. His hero, the human who saved his mother." "I am no hero," Taemin said automatically. "You are to him. You are to all of us." Shiva looked around the office. "This is bigger than you know. What you started here is changing the galaxy. Slowly, yes, but changing it." That night, Taemin walked through the medical center after everyone had gone home. The beds were full of patients sleeping peacefully.